to Abundance of Lovely. Abundance is filled to overflowing and lovely is what we are filled with, and that is love. On my blog, we are on a journey together to discovering the fullness of love, the meaning of life, and how do we chase after the heart of love, which is the heart of God. I'm going to take you behind the scenes on another one of my blog posts today. I don't yet know what this blog post will be titled or how I will go about exploring this topic, but I do know the topic, and it is my word for the year, which is Nephesh. Nephesh is a Hebrew word and it is found in the Old Testament. It is translated usually into the word soul, but it also can mean life, breath, etc. The reason I've chosen Nephesh is because it seems the next step in my journey of healing that I have been on over the last 5 years. Nephesh actually looks at both soma and psyche, so it looks at both the body and the mind and takes an integrated and whole of person approach to healing. And so I really am excited for that. My other word that I have had in the past is sozo, which means healing. So I've looked at sozo healing, I've looked at soma body. Nephesh, breath and soul is just the next step on that journey, and so I'm really excited to bring you along for that journey this year. You will see that a lot of what I do write about on the blog is from the heart. It is about how we can go deep and how we can be wholehearted, and Nephesh is really about being wholehearted. It's not about treating symptoms in isolation. When you go to therapy, you're looking at psyche, you're looking at thought patterns. When you go to a doctor, you're looking at your body and you're looking at physical symptoms. When we're talking about Nephesh, we're looking at the whole of a person, and we're looking at healing from deep within, which I truly believe is what God wants for us. He is our ultimate healer. And the healing that God brings isn't limited to the physical or natural realm, which I think is really why we get limited when we think about healing. We do think about healing either in our minds or in our bodies, but God's view of healing is much deeper and much far penetrating to our lives from an internal lens. It looks at our desires, it looks at our spirituality, our emotions, our memories, you name it. The reason I found this word Nephesh was I bought a book by Chuck DeGroat, which is called Healing What's Within. I haven't read this book yet, but when I went onto his website, I realized that he does soul care intensives, and on these soul care intensive, he does look at how healing can be from a soul level, from a whole of person integrated approach. Of course, he takes a Christian approach to this. When I have Googled soul-centered healing, it does come up with some very questionable spiritual practices. I saw hypnotherapy and psychic abilities in there. That is not the soul-centered healing that I am talking about. I'm talking about a Christian approach to wholeheartedness, and that is what Chuck DeGroat is also talking about. And so what I want to do in this particular blog post, I want to flesh out the journey that I've been on, what that word really means, why I've chosen it, all of the things. I'm not sure where it will go, but I have done posts in the past on my word for the year, and so it will probably have a similar feel to those ones. I might go back and look at those just so I can refamiliarize myself with how I've approached this in the past. But yeah, this is the first time I'm vlogging doing this process, so we'll see where I go. Title for the post, so I've called it Embodied Self Nephesh. I've included a few quotes, so I looked in my notes app and found a few quotes that were more oriented on soul, but because Nephesh is also about the soul, and they represented my understanding and meaning of Nephesh at this point in the year. This has really been a rambling post. It's just me downloading my heart. It is why I've chosen this word for the year. I'm just exploring what that looks like for me as well. Of course, I am very open to what Nephesh looks like this year evolving over time, and I hope and pray that that does happen. So this is a good time capsule moment where I am capturing what this looks like and what I understand of Nephesh now, and hopefully at the end of the year I'll have a more mature and evolved perspective on what Nephesh means, on what it means to be an embodied self. I have actually kept this post really short by my standards recently. It is a 10-minute read time, which is around 1.8k words. I don't remember the last time that I have written a post this short, but I think it's just fitting because I don't want to delve too much into this topic because I have a whole year to explore this topic. The purpose of this post is really just to introduce the journey that I'm on, and I've linked to my previous works that kind of connect. So I mentioned earlier my year of sozo healing, and I did do a reflection that year which I called Healing Touch. So I've linked that at the end of the piece, and I also did the Soma series. So that was 4 posts on Soma, how I explored how I speak to and treat my body, etc, etc. Those are all linked there, as well as the past words of the year that I have done. It's incredible. I've been doing this since 2014. So I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing my blog, 12 years. It seems to be really fitting that I connect it to my blog, therefore, and to share on my blog what my word or phrase for the year is, and just bring everything together and integrate, as this word for the year really is about. It's about that integration, and it's about not having fragmented or disconnected parts of our lives, but really living whole. And so that wholeheartedness is something that I love to explore and will continue to explore this year in a new light through the lens of Nephesh. So I hope that you have enjoyed this little snapshot into my mind and my heart this year, and we'll see where it will take us. I encourage you to go and read the blog post to see my thinking, and comment below if you have a word or a phrase for the year. I'd love to hear what yours is, and I'll speak to you next time on Abundance of Lovely Vlogs and Blogs.